The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Go to the church, though.
Tawali man, what's up?
Man, can you imagine people just dump everywhere? Someone drinks water and throws the bottle wherever.
Come on, Rogers. What else do you expect people to do with an empty bottle?
Simanya now, recorder. Did you know that plastics take at least 450 years to decompose?
What? That's a long time.
Exactly. Because plastics are made out of a lightweight and flexible material that doesn't decompose easily. And plastics everywhere in the environment cause plastic pollution.
What is plastic pollution now?
It is the accumulation of plastic waste in the environment, like bottles, polythene bags, straws. All of these contribute to plastic pollution.
I have been using them without knowing their effect.
Yeah, a lot of people have. Plastics are a danger to the ecosystem, both on land and in water.
So how can we overcome this problem? Is there something we can do?
Oh yes, we can reduce by minimizing the use of plastics, reuse by repurposing them, or recycle by collecting and processing them into new products.
Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change themselves for the world.
How about we change our habits for the world?
And it starts with me and you.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk. The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Bakulisayo okuva mu Mighty Global Updates ate ng'omukulu Kenneth Robert Simira zibatuusaako bulungi nnyo kakati show yaffe eba etandise mu bujjuvu amanya nze Farida Bikobere mu studios ntuddemu ne human rights lawyer Counsel Kato Tumusiime. We shall be talking about human rights violation, extrajudicial killings eziri mu kugenda mu maaso across Africa kubanga bw'otunuulira Africa now a situation to agamba nti Africa is calling for a revolution. Sometimes you feel like they are taking steps and then 2 steps in front and then 3 steps back. But yes, there is there is something that is showing that a revolution is calling in Africa okusinzira ku bintu ebiri mu kugenda mu maaso. In Nigeria waliyo olutalo Muslim and Christians era webukeredde olunaku lwaleero nga Trump ayisiza order ateesa amajege ku standby class 1 kubanga ate ba protectinga abakristaayo bo bagamba nti they are being killed nga batibwa abaisilamu. Ate nga reports ziraga nti tewaliyo kiraga nti abakristaayo batiddwa bangi nnyo as compared to Muslims, but also yes, that is happening in Nigeria. There is a lot happening in Tanzania. Okuba nti tulabye kuva last week nga bamaze okulonda olunaku olwokusatu protests zibadenga protests, and the opposition reports in over 700 people, citizens of Tanzania, have been killed. By Amnesty International, they also confirm nti over 200 people have been killed. Mwezo protests ezibadde zigenda maaso mu Tanzania. A lot of things have been done, and finally, Samia Suluhu was declared as the president of Tanzania nga wins akalu by 98%. Twali wanonga tugamba, how can someone win an election by 99.5? Kagame won that election by 99. Samia Suluhu won by 98. It is something unreal. Though it is happening here in Africa, when we look at what is happening in Sudan, there is a civil war in Sudan taking place. A lot of people have been killed. A lot of people have been displaced. Eranga otalo chagendera ddala maaso. Is it, you know, a state failure? Obuzibu buliwa. So we are going to be weighing on all those situations that are happening in Africa, but also we shall be concentrating here in Uganda. The campaigns are still going on. Those that are protecting the gains are protecting the gains. Those that are, you know, advocating for a change of state, they are also doing their part. Yesterday, the president of Uganda was protecting the gains in Busabala Magere. To be specific, yabadde agulawo eddwaliro emagere. President wa Uganda wano. like I tell you, olutalo lw'abalina ssente luba lwanjawulo. Someone can just come and protect the gains from your neighborhood, and you cannot do nothing. Anyway, very good morning. In studios I have Council Kato. Era njagala okubanga ate abalamusaako sobola okubanga tugendera ddala. Mama, so kwanizo kubanga tudeko nawe Council Kato. I am seeing you busy in court. You kind of, you know, oyagala kugendera mu line ya protecting the gains. You are protecting the people that are advocating for change. Advocating for change.
And thank you, Farida, for hosting me this morning. I am glad that I am here. Nange kambeko byentesa nzimbe gwanga. Protecting the gains.
You are not protecting the gains. You are not part of the group that is protecting the gains.
Because somebody that has grown in this regime and looking at what gains they are portraying each and every day in all angles, actually. It's to be said.
But are there gains that they are protecting?
Ebyenfuna by'eggwanga, tugende ku mirembe, peace and security of a country, tugende ku infrastructure developments, tugende ku so many things. I wonder which gains we have to protect.
There is nothing to protect.
Level.
There is not. You really want to say there is
something to protect, but there are those that completely have nothing to protect. And there are those that have little, instead of even adding on it, they are ending up losing it. Look at the people in downtown
Kampala.
So which gains are they protecting?
Downtown Kampala, it is really devastating. The situation is bad.
It's good that you have been following campaign trails of different presidential candidates, the infrastructure up country. Which gains are those people protecting? Surely. You have looked at the poverty, even where President Museveni also cried and said, hey, I couldn't imagine that people are still this poor. So now which gains are we protecting?
There must be something that you are protecting. You can't just come up with a statement that doesn't concretize.
To me, that statement is just to gaslight people with that excitement. Waliwo bakigenderamu, of course, nga tebamanyi na what it means.
Tebamanyi na kale nikitegeeza so yogenda na bad wagon.
Bo bagenda n'ekiriwo kye babawadde kyekyo tebabuuza. Kubanga nze ntera okulaba abantu bangi, even those in the leadership of NRM at the top level. Babuuza which gains specifically. Point to which gain and say, Kato, or the young people below the age of 30, or above 35 or above 40, this is what we have to protect. Nahinga na hita ina answer. Naye
Nengo omukulu yagambye nti we are protecting the gains, so you go with the statement that was
bagenda
given
ne
to you.
statement nga bweri.
Well, before we go into the discussion, I want to wish abana abali mukola PLE, but we wish you success. Do not fear the paper. It is a normal exam. Just sit with confidence and we wish you well. Era tubagaliza mwena abagendo tula ebigezo bya PLE indowooza kati muyingidde mu examination hall. We wish you the best. Tubagaliza okubanga ate we also want to condemn the examination malpractice that is taking place. Abasomesa, if you don't do your job, please temuletera abaana abo okukola ebintu ate ebiyinza okucoming against them in the future, because womukopera ebibuuzo sirowooza nti ojja kubeerayo ng'atuula ebya senior 4 oba ebya senior 6. So you let them, obwongo bwabwe bubeeyimirire, obwo naaba tebubeeyimiridde bajja kuddamu next year. They still have time, they are still young, so you let them do what they can do. Ebirala bigaane bugaanye. And I want to cross to downtown Kampala as you have brought it out. So omusuubuzi ali ku kizimbe eyateekako edduuka, and then the floods come and ne byonoona ebintu byabamu nalabye engatto abamu abalina dduve nga everything has been spoiled. Ani avunaanyizibwa? If I want to take the legal perspective, njagala kubeerako gwe nvunaana. So who is responsible? Ani gwe ngenda naye mu fight? Because tugenda kunenya Ham yazimba omwala simanyi biki, because now everyone is pointing at Ham, but also there is some kind of poor waste disposal downtown. And when they are disposing, they do not think about what happens after everything has been dumped mu myalo egyo. Kati nze edduuka lyange lyonooneddwa. Now I want to look at who am I going to fight with okubeera nga nfuna ka compensation, because here in Uganda twogera ku insurance. I don't think muna Uganda asobola ali mu downtown ye asobola kulowooza nti amataba gajja kujja gonoone emaali yange, so I should go and insure. That is it is a rare case.
That's what happens on a daily basis.
It's a rare case. So ani avunaanyizibwa mu nsonga eno?
Well, bantu bangi kyetutandikirako, it's true that we have a very, very poor waste management issues everywhere, not even in Kampala alone. Kuba bw'olaba emyala gyonna egisinga wano mu Kampala gijjuddemu bucupa, gijjuddemu buveera, gijjuddemu ki,
ne pampa z'abaana.
Ekyo kyo kituufu. But what we also have to accept is that even when we have that system of poor management of the waste,
yes,
there are better ways of how we can resolve it. Okay? Nti olese ensonga buli omu gy'abadde ayogerako. The flooding in Kampala and how businesses have been affected.
People have lost businesses.
Teriko ono munene ono si munene nedda. Kino kyoffe
kyabakutte, especially those abakolera mu basement.
But to say that this issue has been overseen before even they started that construction. If it were tukiraba. And the questions we are asking is, what procedure did you follow? Because that's a public land.
Yes.
That if anybody is interested in developing that plan, it wouldn't have been monopolized. Bajwe ham ntamu yeka inoku okudeveloping a Kampala.
Yeah, inobukugu. Yes.
Ntibandiise mu miteeka nga PPDA bwebireeta. If you feel that's the important thing to do, advertise. Yeah. Call people who are interested in developing, look at their skills, follow the different procedures, make an environmental impact assessment report. So that's tumanye. You are trying to redevelop but yes, what are the dangers that can come out of that? What are the advantages? Kampala badda flooding ngo mwala tebana kuziba. Kati omwala baguzibye side emu batandika okuzimba. In the real sense okuzimba oko n'ebintu bibali mu kukola, it wouldn't have even taken us 3 months if we had somebody really ngaalumirirwa abantu ali nga kyayagala kuzimba oba kukola development mu kibuga nga bwe yateekayo plan. Ekyo kyekisooka. Ekyokubiri nti abantu bangi bekikwatako. If you want to take a legal action, tulina abantu bangi ne government nga mweri atone geno yasooka. And the best me, in my own view, the best action to take is a human rights violation under the enforcement of the Human Rights Act. osuwinge atone geno hamutomuleka omugattako ne enterprise ye ogigattako eyo kampani eyatwala eyo KCCA yenyini eyakkiriza nayo gigattako nti oyina abantu bangi nti buli omu mu kapasite ye ayina kyalina okuba nga avunaanibwa olw'okuba mu bintu bye bazze nga bakola bye biviiriddeko amatabo okujja ne gonoona emaali y'abantu, and these people are entitled to compensation. They have to be compensated at all levels. Nti buli omu asobola okugendayo in their capacity nga ayinayo edduuka oba nawe Farida nga gwe alumirirwa abantu under Article 50 ogenda mu kkooti n'ogamba nze kusinziira ku kyenalabye downtown, kusinziira ku kyenalabye downtown, they deserve to be compensated. Their rights were violated. Ate kkooti ejja kuwuliriza ekuwe kyoyagala.
But is there a way singa tuba tetugenze to take legal action? Is there a way government is going to come in and compensate these people at a humanitarian ground?
It can. Olw'okuba tuli mu kalulu era olabye bapolitician abasinga jo nalabye executive director wa KCCA ng'agendayo as if yali tabiraba, as if guno gwe gusoose. But people have advised and said
nti we bayisiza ye teyaliiwo
teyaliiwo naye bwe yajja yatandikira ku ki naye what I usually see in the electioneering period is that government egenda kuvaayo eddukirira abo abantu ejinza obbawa katono naye bajja kutandikirawo but naye katono kebanaaba babawadde kajja kuba tekamala to atone to the damages that they have faced as individuals. So that's frustration in the economic setup ze tulimu kati ne crisis je tulimu. Really, these people deserve to be
compensated because the rain season has just started. We do not know how far it is going to take. So tetumanyi oba bajjemu emaali mu.
And maybe it's not about compensation but create solutions that can stop this kind of a disaster to happen again.
So now that
town tegenda kusenguka. Omwala tegenda kusenguka. Amazzi we gava tewagenda kugwawo. It's still the rainy season.
But now that Ham has started the construction, so what happens? Does he have maybe to kind of kwanguyiriza construction egwe, and we see somehow that Abasubuzi, Abali downtown, bawewera oba that is that something actually?
Ekyo kyandibadde kisookerwako yangu y'omulimu ogumalirize oba ekyokubiri abana agenda mu kkooti balina osaba kkooti emuyimirize kugenda mu maaso ne construction eyo.
Bwe muyimiriza flooding tegenda maaso.
Citing the already seen impacts that we have that are visible everywhere. Nti n'abalamuzi bano yizo sanga ayinayo ne muwala we ne w'oluganda lwe nga ayinayo business. So kino kitukwatako ffenna.
So we muyimiriza Ham now that the construction already blocking omwala.
Anti bwe mala omuyimiriza kkooti emuwane orders to do restoration omwala guzeewo nga bwe
wagusanga.
You have solved the problem. Kati kyo tekyetaaga ne rocket science oba bakujja ebulayo gye. You see that no restore omwala nga bwe gwali nga bwe wagusanga
because you have failed.
Because you have already failed. Nti plan n'ebbaluwa mukulu Museveni gyawandiikira prime minister nga mukkiriza yali clear egamba ayina obukugu obunaazimba guno omwala akole development ezeetaagisa
benefiting abana Uganda
nti abantu bonna bajja sigala nga beeyagala nga teri akoseddwa emirimu gya Ham. Balwa bwe yali egamba naye kati myezi tuli mu emeka we have already seen losses and the flooding in Kampala.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, we have even lost people, about 3 of them.
Street kids. They were swept away by the floods.
Kati ebintu ebyo eyamuwa olukusa yenna ayina okuddayo abyekenneenya agambe
nti yalonda mukyama.
Nedda kikome.
Well, we are talking elections, campaigns, conflicts across Africa. Tutandikira n'ewaffe nanti omuliraano gwokya 2 bwanga ekiri ya Nigeria kiyinza okwokya ne kikwata e Kenya ne kikwata ne Uganda. So tutandikira wano ewaka before we cross to our neighbors and understand what is happening there and what that communicates to what is happening here in Uganda. Kasooke tunuulire campaigns ezigenda maaso. How do you make of the whole situation of this campaign season and in regards to human rights violations or protections of the human rights?
Well, I should say that there has been an improvement. Bikyuseemu tebiri nga bwe byali 2021 at least to some point. naye sigamba nti abantu bafunye eddembe okweyagala betaaye nga bwe bandibadde betaaye no nti poliisi n'ebitongole ebikuuma ddembe at some point bibadde bigezezaako kuwa abantu omwaganya on both sides of the
okucampaigninga
naye ekiriwo something that is visible is that they are not still balancing the two sides nti balina kyekubiira balina side gye batutte side eri mu buyinza latuwano buli omu akiraba nti President Museveni yava ku nomination katandike ku nomination day ng'alina abantu eggaali ez'enjawulo n'akunga mpaka kololo teri yamukwata ku mukono oba abantu
yamulemesa
nti owekitiibwa Honorable Kyagulanyi ava ku nomination naye agenda kulala area ye enatete but over about I think 50 people were arrested awo nga bavunaana musango ki okuba nga bagenda bavudde gye bavudde bagenda ku Stegera nti wagenda okulaba mwami Munyagwa Mubaraka Munyagwa Honorable nga naye n'okuyingira ground za nomination za electoral commission it was a struggle nti olabirawo nti from the onset nga tolina nagenda mu details these people have already taken sides and they want to divide but unlike what happened in 2021 wetwalaba some of the presidential candidates including Honorable Kyagulanyi ng'esuuti ebadiiziza ng'abantu bangi bakubirwa and the rest even here we have had somebody who was shot on that very day awo enatete nti olaba nti these violations don't give people the right to express themselves to participate in election processes and activities or events nti abamu bakiriza okugenda bakole ebyabwe naye abalala bomu bakugira nti somebody has a road map nti akalulu nti olunaku luno ngenda kubeera wano ngenda kubeera wano ngenda kubeera because of the limited time nti owesanga omuntu ng'alina district nga 2 oba 3 zalina okukuba mu campaign naye omukkiriza ye n'akozesa amakubo that are very good actually not good but that are relatively fair and near nti omulala ye omukugira n'omugamba ate kati weetooloole ogenda in a certain district but pass in another district and then you come back by the time you reach your second third rally ground nti obudde buba bukuti ate oyagala kubeera wampisa okuuma eddembe nti abantu booze ng'olaba nga bakuba bayisa mu ngeri ey'enjawulo these are all violations of human rights that we should be actually fighting against in this election period. The violations are not only limited to torture, inhuman treatment and degrading treatment, but they also go to other rights. For example, right to peacefully demonstrate, march, enjoy your rights as
but the police etugamba nti abamu babagaana amakuba agamu olw'ensonga nti you might kutataganya business z'abantu aba bali mu kukola so nagamba take the other road oleka abantu abali mu kukola business zaabwe okugenda mu maaso
tetuganye if that's the idea my point is if that's the idea let it be followed on every candidate nti omuntu omugaana ate omulala omukkirize.
It is because candidate omwaja ne crowd, another candidate doesn't have a crowd.
Any candidate gwalabye nga talina crowd. For example, let us compare the two candidates, President Museveni and Honorable Kyagulanyi. Ani atalina crowds. Lwaki omwo omugamba muyite wano omulala muyite wano. And they are all going to the same period. What has made this very, very interesting is that the two candidates actually following each other in the areas where they are doing their campaigns. Naye we have seen completely different treatment of the two candidates, including exchanges with the police, fighting with the foot soldiers and the rest, which are actually avoidable, at all costs avoidable if you call people to participate in a democratic system, in an election that you want to look like free and fair, even when it's not. At least give them that small treatment. Don't make them suffer and don't tokalubiriza abantu nti baleke buli omu yeetaaye banoonya akalulu ebinaavaayo ebyo but don't mistreat them and don't show that you are one-sided.
But what is interesting, Council Kato, is that we have had the same pattern of events over the years, same things happening. why aren't Ugandans acting? Why aren't you acting differently? Kati mwebe tuina musubi, the legal fraternity. Oh, ababali mkunonya kalulu. Lwachi temuleta new tactics, because these are the same patterns that happened in 2021, 2016, 2011, and ebintu bizze bigenda bwebityo byegoberera tewabaddeewo nnyo kukyuka. Naye ate you find that n'aba bebabikolako, oba those who take part, nabo bakola the same things. Recently, they have learnt and forgot nothing.
I shouldn't say they have learnt and forgot. Some have learnt and forgot nothing, but some have not learnt completely. But you should look at the environment we operate in. It's too for the legal fraternity. But I will give examples. And I think what to say in these elections, I think people have mastered the art of advising their power. They want to show that nzariko. Okay. I'll give examples of the incumbents. For example, the Speaker of Parliament. The process yaitamu kubera nominated. Nti abamu bagano ku nominatingibwa. Abamu you do whatever manyanga go koze babaje mu register. We run to court to challenge that kind of deletion of any person from
a voter register.
Because the law is clear that you have a right to decide on which place you want to vote in from. The law is clear that you can even contest in any area of this country as long as you are a registered voter there. That's the only requirement that somebody must prove. The Electoral Commission, nze bampandika ngenda kurondera Kampala naye nze ndiwe ntungamu.
Yes.
Bensara okwesimba Kampala mbanzikirizibwa. There is no road that bars me. Naye kati ono bamujje mu register first. Then they follow suit and file a case in court. Nti ensonga lwaki guno omusango baguteeka mu kooti nti bagambe Electoral Commission ekole restoration kyengambye ezeeyo register nga bwe yali noono bamuzeemu mu register. Okitegeera nti naye akirizibwe okugenda mu maaso bamunominating a candidate in that district.
Yes.
Some of they were about 3 people. Nti nomination zaali zigenda kubawo nga 22-23. Nti omusango kuwa ensala yaago ogiteekaho nga 27 nga nomination zagwadda nga terina kigenda mu maaso, and that's the kind of the judiciary we are dealing in.
But Electoral Commission taina powers okubeera nga banominating abantu abo singa bavaayo ng'omusango kale bagusinze. Isn't that a way Electoral Commission should organize their nomination?
At omusango bagusinga, you see the purpose of that case, for example, was to restore everything as it was before. Tugende maaso. Why do you want to create a situation that this is a special case? I think the Electoral Commission already maze kurangira that this one has been declared unopposed. Some of the people that tried to access the nomination grounds were blocked. Excuses of internet, simanye vudeko so tetugenda banominating. Those were the issues that were visibly seen by everybody. So if you have that kind of an application, for example, it seeks for interim orders, it seeks for permanent injunctions and the rest. Those kind of application take precedence over everything. Hold the rest of the cases, determine this, because it has an impact on this electoral system and the schedule. This is a constitutional mandate. You get? We are running a constitutional mandate that guides the time frames on which these activities must be done. Why do you want to extend? So that you create issues of antinga we chakore wagundi tuchikore ne wagundi nedda.
So the judicial system was manipulated to the
everybody is manipulated, and the manipulation starts from the appointment of these judicial officers. Me, I have to tell you clearly that if you wake up and appoint somebody in an acting capacity, they must obey whatever direction you are taking them in. That's obvious. Because they want to be confirmed, so that they can take full charge of that office.
Yes.
But when you look at the history of acting judges, it doesn't apply in this kind of era and form, where we have so many qualified people.
Yes.
Abazungu we bali bava mu Uganda abasinga. They were the people that were holding these positions in the judiciary.
Yes.
And there was a gap. ntitwaite twina abantu
basomye
so many
mateeka
and qualified
yes.
to go through those processes so that they can be judicial officers. That's how the judicial officers, the judges in acting capacity started in this country. But in this era where we have so many qualified people, where you have a lot of time, why do you appoint somebody if
in
they qualify
capacity
to be a judge? Why do you appoint them in an acting capacity? You see, when you are acting,
kind of test them
for what? It means you have not followed what the requirements are, because the law is clear
their competency
on
and
what are the qualifications of a judge. For example, the judge of the High Court, the judge of the Justice of the Constitutional Court, Court of Appeal and Supreme Court. If I don't meet the qualifications, why do you appoint me in an acting capacity? Because somebody acting makes a decision in an acting capacity.
yes.
And my conclusion would be that even these judges, the judgments they make are judgments in acting capacity. It means that if they don't confirm you as a judge, your acting judgment that is pending your confirmation as a full judge should also be erased, because it has lost sense. Yes. Because if you are acting, somebody in an acting capacity cannot make a decision that binds the rest of the organization or anybody. You get that if you are acting, for example, as a host of this show, that you must have a supervisor supervising you. That before you ask me any question, your supervisor must confirm and say this is the right thing.
Yes.
That is where the problem comes in. That it means that the judgment you will give as an acting judge must be perused, confirmed, and then they give you a go-ahead to continue. That's how it's supposed to be done. Logic, that's logic.
They don't make independent judgments.
That's very true. That's very true. I have given you a live example. You are a host of this show, but you are in an acting capacity. Don't you consult?
You consult.
If they say Echoto Chibuza, can you go ahead and ask it?
No.
And you see, even when that decision is wrong or right, you have no power to say no to it, because you want to be confirmed.
You want the position.
So that's how the problems in our judiciary have started to go beyond even, some of them are irreparable. They are irreparable. You look at the judgment and ask whether this judge really understands what they have been doing or not.
So before we go in for our commercial
and secondly,
break,
maybe that one, on that very issue, you look at these judges that have been appointed of late. The cadre judges, this has been an issue. That because there is a contribution you have been making either on social media, on TVs, or supporting the system, then you have to be awarded something, and then they say you be an acting judge for this period.
Oh.
And will you give a decision against your appointing authority?
You cannot.
No.
Yeah.
The answer is no. That's where the problem is.
So does that mean that these people who won the case now, babakolako kalo obutali butuukirivu, they just remain there? The Electoral Commission doesn't in any way help them?
Yali aroopye omusango ng'agamba nti ono omuntu bamugye mu register. Ono n'anaddukira mu kkooti omusango ne bagugoba. It means that they have restored you in the register. But have you seen that kind of a pronouncement in that judgment? No. There is none. There is none. So how do you enforce that? Anti kati oboyi n'okuddayo mu kkooti ogisabe orders to enforce the restoration of this of the register as it was before.
So why were they celebrating? Did they understand the judgment? Anyways,
but you see, you look at some judgment and you don't know whether you are the winner or the loser. You are in between. It is hanging. It is hanging, and you see somebody celebrating and ask, but what have you benefited from this judgment? They can also not tell it to you.
Because we were kind of like, yes, at least the judicial system has done something. But then, according to how you have explained,
because if you say that this case fails on the outset, then it means it has restored the rest. But there must be an order to that effect.
Yes.
And say, this case required these declarations and the orders. So you grant the orders. And if it fails, it has failed with these prayers and declarations and orders. Complete nothing. Then we go back to how it was before the case.
That is real bad. It is bad news anyways to us who want to see that kind of stiff competition in all the positions. Nayenga, ebintu bwebityo bwebiri, we cannot do anything about them. We are going in for a short break. Wetukomawo tujja kubanga tweyongerayo n'emboozi zaffe eza kalulu, what is happening in Sudan, what is happening in Tanzania, there is a lot happening in Nigeria. So we shall be weighing on all the situations that are happening in Africa, and then, you know, kind of contrast them with what is happening in Uganda and what lessons Uganda can pick from those kind of situations. A very good morning. We'll be right back.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain.